Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash, the one to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth, risking your life to do so. And, man, it's, you miss a day, you miss a lot. That's heavy. You know, it's weird in those times. Right, that's why the scriptures say, though those days be not shortened, no flesh will be saved, because it's just so much going on. The Lord is speeding everything up. Wanted to get into this article. It was mentioned at the live stream we did. It says the Treasury just declared the U.S. insolvent. The media missed it. This is big. This is huge. All right, because one of the things that they're trying to do, hold on one second, is change the way money is spent. Okay, they want to change everything over to digital. All right, so everything that they're doing is a push towards that. All right, when you look at war, especially with the U.S., man, they're spending. Let me see. In fact, they show you that. Here it is. Say live estimate, the Iran war cost tracker. Estimated U.S. taxpayer spending based on the Pentagon's briefing to Congress, $11.3 billion for the first 6 days, plus $1 billion a day ongoing. All right, so the estimated cost is $32 billion. $32 billion. 11.3 first 6 days, Pentagon Congress, right? $11,574 per second. 41 million an hour. Every day it's $1 billion. So that's how they're getting this number. They're going off of that $1 billion a day, which it might be more than that. And that's for the weapons. This is for everything. It's 13 U.S. service members killed, 200 wounded so far. Iranian military, 5,000 killed, including senior leadership, which they tried to kind of do what they did Iran, where they hit, they hit the head, but that's not going to work. You know, Ishmael is different. They different, man. Ishmael is wild. They'll blow themselves up to blow you up. Yeah, Ishmael is crazy. They tried to go after prime targets and end the war fast, but it's not looking like that's going to be effective. And this is looking like we're going to go into World War III. All right, Iranian civilians, 1,500, 20,000 wounded. Yeah. 175 at Treasury, JBS girls' school, mostly girls aged 7 through 12 and staffed. Man, this is interesting, man. Wars and rumors of war. Paying at the pump, national average $3.94 per gallon, up 98 cents. Yep, because Iran is saying no more going through the Strait of Hormuz for the U.S. and for Israel permanently. All right, so I don't think that we get gasoline from over there or oil. That's based on the reports that I've read. You know, we don't know the specific details on everything, but we know that the EU gets a lot of Russian energy. That's been a big issue. Okay, who is an ally to Iran, so that probably affects prices. Also, we get a lot of other things from that region. So when they stop business, it's going to affect all prices. Right? You affect the price of gasoline, it's going to affect all pricing of everything. All right, and I work with a lot of people who do in the service industry. You know, they do come to your home and fix services. As the pump goes up, all those services are going to go up. The food production, food costs are going to go up, right? Because they got to bring it to you. They got all the gas and all the oil that they got to burn to bring the truck over to you and power the freezer and all of that stuff. Yeah, everything is going up. Pre-conflict, February, it was $2.96. Yeah. Yep. All right, and then of course Israel. And you have to keep sending them money because they're pretty much a welfare state, even though they're trying to say that they're not. It says Jennifer Kavanaugh of Defense Priorities estimate the U.S. easily spent more than $10 billion on air defense systems in the first 48 hours. Iran launched 2,000 drones and 500 ballistic missiles. Estimates interceptors cost at 1.2 to 3.7 billion for the first 100 hours. Yeah, war is costly. War is costly. You got to feed soldiers. You got to, of course, you got to power all of this machinery. You have to manage it, maintain it. You got to pay electricians, engineers, and professionals to do all of this stuff, programmers. You got people on a 24-hour call. You know, they have to. They're paid a bonus. Yeah, war is a swell racket. Say who has that money bought? So it's a lot to it. You know, war is expensive. You get the point. All right, that's why we always go to the scriptures. Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered, he cannot be satisfied. They cannot. They're going to be over here, over there. They're never going to stop. And is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right, that's what you see in the United States. They've gathered all people. This is one of the only countries. The West is the only place where that concept actually exists. Every other nation you go, they nationalize. They have basically their people, and they might have like an immigrant community or something somewhere, but that's kind of off to the side and less spoken about. But the U.S., they try to do this everybody together bullshit, so then they can fool you and then come into your country. But against a lot of these Eastern nations, it doesn't work. Right? Against Ishmael, it's not going to work. All right, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, and that's this place. They try to increase that which is not theirs. They went to Venezuela, they made that move, and now they went to Iran. And like Trump was saying, because the Israelis are credited with destroying the natural gas system. Basically, Trump was like, "Oh man, I really didn't want them to do that." Why? Because they wanted that. They wanted to grab onto that and take hold of that. All right, yeah, it's always these other nations. They'll destroy, they'll set on fire, their own shit so that nobody else can have it. Because that's basically why Esau's there. They want to tap in and control the energy. And we know that thick clay at Batyat is debt. Is debt. Right? Woe unto them that laid thick clay. God damn. Doing a lesson. Somebody just tried to sideswipe my goddamn mirror. All right, but back to this article. Yeah, man, it's when this shit goes down and as things going up, because I think this person is doing DoorDash, who done kind of tapped my mirror a little bit. My mirror is good, but the scriptures say, don't be hasty in times of trouble, man. These people are about to go crazy. They're about to be hitting stuff. It's pouring down raining right now. Like the other part of the town, city I was at, I'm up in Chicago, Great Millstone, Chicago. But the power went out. The power went out. These people still out, still, DoorDash, still running. It's pouring down, man. Huge storm. When shit really hits the fan, as things go up, because you got people who I work with at one job, They leave that job and go to their other job. And they go home, go to sleep for a couple hours, come back, go to that job, go to the next job. Yeah. All right, this ain't back in the day where $40,000 made you middle class. Now, you need about 100. I think it's like $125,000. Middle class is over with. You either rich or poor. All right, but it says the Treasury just declared the U.S. insolvent. Yeah, because you have, what made middle class too is you have the man working. Maybe the wife has like a side job or something, or maybe she stays at the home, but the man basically can be the provider, and the economy, allows it. But now that this false ass balance, this currency's fucked up, men and women ain't sticking together like that in the same house and doing all that. So everybody's solo dolo, and it's everything's fucked up. Right? That's why a lot of these women are into softcore prostitution. Right? Basically, softcore prostitution. They're looking for a trick, a sugar daddy. You're a prostitute. All right, it's time to repent. It says the Treasury just declared the U.S. insolvent. The media missed it. The U.S. government is insolvent. That's not hyperbole. It's the conclusion drawn directly from the Treasury's Department's own consolidated financial statements for fiscal year 2025. Released last week to near total media silence. Yeah, they're not the distractions, man. It's baseball season and NBA finals are approaching, and nobody's thinking about a party. It's spring break. The number 6.06 trillion in total assets against 47.7 trillion in total liabilities as of September 3rd, 2025. So your assets are down, your liabilities are way up. That's not good. There's no jubilee in this kingdom. There's no, you're not free from debt. Unless you clear bankruptcy, but then even then, it's like for 7 years, because everybody who you ask for a loan or you apply to live somewhere, they're going to ask you, have you declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years? Have you did this? Are you in the middle of chapter so-and-so bankruptcy? Everybody's going to ask that. So if you don't have your shit already set up, it's going to be harder for you. All right, unless you have a good co-signer, but I mean, even then, who's gonna want to co-sign for? That's the mentality here. It says which Trump, our president, he didn't declare bankruptcy many times. He got many felonies. He didn't been to prison. All right, that squeaky clean good guy image on Esau is done, and it's beautiful. All right, everything is coming to the light, and when you go back into the history of the old presidents, there's all kind of stuff coming out. All right, it says importantly, the 47.7 trillion in reported liabilities does not include the unfunded obligations of social insurance programs like Social Security and Medicare. Those are disclosed separately in the off-balance sheet statement of social insurance. The government's consolidated balance sheet position excluded the SOSI, deteriorated by nearly 2.07 trillion between FY 2024 and FY 2025, reaching a staggering negative 41.72 trillion. All right, jumping to the point though, not only has the financial press ignored the consolidated financial statements, but most members of Congress and members of the general public will not read the consolidated financial statements. Documents like the consolidated financial statements are not the kind of thing you want to read before driving. Yep. And see, Esau is like the drug dealer in the area. They want to control everything in the area, all traffic. And then when they go broke, they're gonna rob everybody else. They're going to try to muscle everybody else. But it's not working. That's why he said, Ezekiel 28, said, look, I'm going to bring these nations against you because you're traffic and all that stuff. It says documents. That's not bad enough. Most people cannot relate to the $1 trillion numbers in financial statements. Therefore, it is appropriate to translate them into terms that people understand. It says most people cannot relate to $1 trillion figures on the government ledger. So consider this: divide every number by 100 million, drop 8 zeros, and federal finances look like a household budget in free fall. That household earns $52,446, which that ain't shit. That's like $1,000 every week before taxes, and spends $73,378, running at $20,000, $932 annual deficit. And that's with them taking away zeros, man. You add them zeros, it gets crazy. Its total liabilities and unfunded promises amount to $1,361,788 against just $60,554 in assets, leaving it a $1.3 million in the hole. Uncle Sam, by any accounting standard, is insolvent. Right? It's that thick clay is going to increase. Pretty sure pretty soon they're going to be like, hey, we're going to have to change the money system because you can't just keep printing money like that. You can't. Right? That's what quantitative easing is. Then you do a loan, and then that person has to pay you back plus interest, and that kind of relieves everything. But it's not happening like that. Yeah, vengeance is being brought on you, Esau. And it's being brought not instantly, because there is going to be a day where in 1 hour you just get fucked up and judged. But first it's gonna come gradually. It's gonna come gradually, where, like it says, that wisdom and timing, you're gonna slip in your own thoughts. You're gonna slip. Everything is gonna start to come apart. You're gonna be in slippery slopes. All of the traps that you put out, you're going to fall in. All of the bullshit you put out for people, you're going to go in for yourself. Oh, damn. War is going to be around you. It said the men that are in you are going to lift up a shout. It's going to be war inside this country. All right? It's going to be sedition. Well, these Edomites are going to start to be like, man, fuck this. You charging us all this money. You guys have let the banks and these rich motherfuckers fuck us over. Fuck that. We need to take this shit back. All right, Psalms 94:1. O Lord, power to whom vengeance belongeth, O power to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long should the wicked triumph? How long should they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? All right, all these people who boast themselves that you guys are the wicked, man. They're fucking nobodies. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planteth the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? You think the Lord not going to see you? Like he said, he planted the ear. And that's one of the chief things that really makes Esau a fool. He really thinks that he's above the Lord, that he can fool the Lord. And that just goes to show you he has a lot of demons on him. Because you a complete jackass for believing that. He that chastises the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? Like, man, I'm the one who teaches you. I gave you the power. I gave you inspiration. I gave you, it said, he that created the smith. I gave you the technology and the understanding of it. Now you're going to fall. Right? Hey, and they're in the lot of the rich man. We go back to that parable, the rich man and Lazarus. See, Esau during this time is the rich man. That's why all the women of the tribes, they want to be like him. They want to get with him. All right, the Latinas, you adulterous ass bitches, you want to get with Esau because they put that in your mind. That's going to put you at a higher status. All right, the Asian women, you guys wanted to get with him. Black women, you guys wanted to get with him. But you know he's a piece of shit. You just want to get with him for his money. All right, Proverbs 22:16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Bow down thy ear, hear the words of the wise, and apply thy heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee, they shall withal be fitted in thy lips. That thy trust may be in the Lord, I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. It says, have not I written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. Now, let me read that again, that I might make thee know the certainty. Have not I written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge? It's a question. It's a like it. That I might make thee know the certainty of the truth of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. So you can't just do that, man. You can't just rob somebody because they're poor. All right, he's poor or he's already afflicted, so I'm going to just afflict him. No, you can't do that. That's wicked. For the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoil them. All right, there you go, man. The Lord will plead their cause. That's why it's important for us to pray and continue to call upon his name. All right, you gotta pray and fast as well. Gotta get the demons off of us as well. As the Lord said, the prayers of the wicked are an abomination to him. So you don't want to be found, on the same lot as them. All right, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. Yeah, the Lord said he hears the prayers of a poor afflicted man. He said that don't oppress him because he's going to cry out and the Lord going to hear him. And that's exactly what's going on. Verse 23, for the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. That's what Esau has done, man. They spoiled. So, hey, it's already been ruled. Look, they're not going to pay this money back. We got another war. We got more shit. We was already in a downward slope. Now it's time to go down some more. And the media is not reporting it because everybody's crossing their feet. Hey, take bomb. The bomb ain't gonna work, man. Call Loyum La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Lord willing is edifying. All right, continue to watch as well as to pray.